This is Dancing Bear.
And this is Koala.
And this is what I believe is from best to worst, or worst to best,
of
top
a bunch
sci-fi
of
shows.
Sci-fi shows
So,
that I put in randomly.
Even though these letters are alphabetical, I'm going to rate which sci-fi show I personally like more.
You can move it down, like up a bit. You don't need to see all of this.
Right, no worries. So, here's your list. We have shows from Torchwood to Stranger Things to Babylon 5 to Mandalorian.
So
to
yeah,
Break 7.
I'm interested to see what you think, but also I will be arguing with you who put them somewhere that it just doesn't belong.
Okay, now then.
So just grab the first one and move it.
The first
one.
one.
How good do you think it is?
The first one I see that grabs my attention is, to be honest with you, Lost in Space. And the reason why I picked this particular one is, I presume this is the 60s show.
This is the 60s.
I don't rate it. I think I know it's the show that sort of piqued people's interest in science fiction.
So where would you put? Would you say that is worst tier? Because I would, just out of respect, I would pull it as D tier. Or maybe C.
I think it was good for what it was.
Well, move it then.
So I will move it and put it. You want to put it on the D tier. So I'm grading it essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, now. Right. Yeah. Now I know what I'm doing.
So what?
So I'm going to give it a D.
It's not the worst thing ever. It's aged terribly, but out of respect.
Yes.
And its influence.
It was the show that inspired more shows.
Yes.
So I think that in itself, sort of don't want to use the word commands respect, but is due respect. I think that's a better word to describe it.
Now we can see everything.
Right,
so
no
yeah,
worries.
just grab them and talk about them as you grab them.
So here we are, is Stargate SG-1. Now this is a show that...
Boy!
Wow, is pretty spectacular, isn't it?
It was back in its day.
I think...
I should say, indeed.
Indeed. Now, I've been rewatching a lot of Stargate material, and I think it's aged reasonably well. I also like how...
Special effects, not so much with that weird water.
It was one of the first shows that came to my attention that brought the whole argument of with the pyramids and all these huge human achievements in Bronze Age history. Was they actually our achievements? Was we under the influence of alien intervention? It was one of the first shows that actually, believe it or not, for science fiction, truly tackled that sort of argument, not so much argument, as a concept. So I think that in itself
had some really dumb episodes, though.
Oh, yeah, but
oh, God.
What show doesn't, to be quite frank?
Amanda tapping in the bath.
Wow, I'm going to choose to ignore that statement altogether because...
Triple S just for that.
Personally, I'm not personally attracted to Amanda Tapping. However, it is quite obvious by speaking to fellow fans of this franchise that she does have certain sex appeal. So that, putting it aside, I believe Stargate SG-1 was a good show overall. So if I just... go up here, bearing in mind I'm still quite... I presume this is the top of the tier.
That's the top. You didn't need to move it up there.
No, right, no worries. But I'm going to give it a solid grade. You know what? There is one aspect that prevents it from being right at the top of the tier, and I'll explain why. But I think it's
at least double S.
Yeah, double S.
So
what do these letters actually stand for? Like SSS, SS?
So the SS were these guys in Germany. I can't.
You're gonna have to regrade these because I'm saying right. But anyway, SS. What does it actually stand for?
Just generic. I actually took them from Devil May Cry. I don't know what I mean. I think it's like super special something or other.
Yeah, I think you need to change it, mate. To be honest.
No. D. E is your worst. S. A is your really good. And then if you think something is the best sci-fi show on here, you get Triple S.
Right, so that's an equivalent of a grade B. The reason why it isn't top notch, and I'll tell you why, is I don't think Stargate SG-1 tackled issues that was relevant to people, that people could relate to that much. That's the only thing that prevents the show from being a star. However, in terms of concepts and just out there storytelling, it's top notch. It's top notch stuff. So yeah, let's find another. Torchwood. Now, you're going to hate me because I might just put this. I'm having to contemplate here.
B.
I'm going to say B as well. I'm going to agree with you.
So down. You just put it in double S.
Well, no, because that's an equivalent of a B. If that's A...
So this is A. Say this
No,
is
I
like
mean
an A+.
if it was like grading at school, A, that's how I'm doing it. So even though it says SS, so basically I'm going to put it in the same ranking as Stargate SG-1. My reason being is that...
So that's basically, if you're doing it in that train of thought, that's equivalent. SS is equivalent to like A++.
What's SSS then?
A+++.
Yeah, okay, it's not that good. Well, no, Torchwood is definitely the best spin-off Doctor Who's ever produced. It didn't forget its origins, where it originally came from.
We'll give it an A+.
You disagree? You don't think it was as... Okay, I'll agree with you. Torchwood was...
I appreciated it and loved it because it was brave enough to tackle the being more for adults.
Yeah.
And it didn't hide the fact that Jack would happily bang anything that moved.
Yeah. Also, what I appreciate about this particular spin-off, and a lot of spin-offs don't do this, believe it or not, or tend to do this in leaps and bounds, is that they forget where the concepts originally came from. Torchwood never truly forgot that this was a show set in the Doctor Who universe, yet still maintained a balance of making it its own thing.
Exactly, it
So
became
was
its own
clever,
thing.
Torchwood, very clever.
But towards later years, it did start to stagnate, and then we only got one episode, and then it disappeared. So
yes. So here we are. We have Stranger Things here.
I think Stranger Things.
I have seen them all, but I don't really creatively. I think it's very original. I like.
I'd give that a double S.
You give that a double S.
That's a super special right there.
Ooh. Okay. So we have Stranger Things. I will agree to disagree because personally I think Torchwood. I don't know. I reckon they're on tier.
Move Stranger Things down one.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as Stargate. To be honest with you, not really. It's a good show, very good show, but I'm gonna have to put it in the same rank as Torchwood.
But at the same point, Stranger Things is known more to the masses now. It's a phenomenon.
Right,
man.
but okay.
Phenomenon.
Are we really going to rank art and creativity with popularity? There is a difference.
No, we're not.
So Stranger Things still an exceptionally good show. It's popular for a very good reason. The reason why I don't think it's as good as SG-1, but it's on par with Torchwood, is that it was brilliant, and people are going to be surprised at this, at tackling certain issues, certain sensitive issues as well, because you got to think in season 1 a child went missing. Obviously, they explain how the child went missing, and I like how it is. But a lot of shows, a lot of films, especially now, tend to set things in the 80s. It seems to be a phase at the minute, but that is actually one of the most believable shows that you could truly believe that it was in the 80s. What have you just put on the...
Battlestar Galactica, the remake. I'm putting it at C because it was an alright show. It weren't that great.
No.
Move on. The less we talk about that, the better.
I'm not a huge fan of Battlestar Galactica. What have we got here? What's this one?
This is Buck Rogers.
Oh, I'm not huge.
I have watched this recently. I know you're not a huge fan, but it has aged really well. It does tackle things. I would put that at C.
C.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
You got to understand as well, we seem to be putting a lot of dated shows at the back end. We are putting the time into consideration. Obviously, a lot of the old shows aren't going to be as good. We're sidetracking that completely. We're not even putting that into consideration.
It's our personal thoughts
because
on
I feel
how
if
they've
we
affected.
did, it'd be an unfair.
We're not putting the old shows further back. We just haven't got to the ones that we watched.
No, exactly.
And we're good to us. Like
Futurama.
Futurama, I think, is at least. Oh, Futurama is a good show. I would pull it with Stargate. I would say it's that good to me.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
The jokes in it are good.
Show. Right, I tell you what, I'll put it here.
You'll put it there.
I'm not putting it with Stargate, mate, because these are top-notch shows. It's a good show, but not fucking Stargate. Go, come on.
It's good.
It is good. Right, so I'm putting Futurama with Stranger Things and Torchwood.
Now, the original Battlestar Galactica, no argument here. That goes with Stargate. It tackled really big issues.
Mate,
they are travelling. They are alone. The remake tried to do it and failed fucking miserably.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Battlestar Galactica, personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can't ignore how successful it was
and its impact.
And how original it was at the time. And it wasn't one of these shows that so many shows have tried to be recently. Another Star Trek rip-off. It did try to be its own thing. So therefore, I think it deserves its own merit. We have here Doctor Who.
E. Just the worst thing I've ever seen. In all its collective canon.
Do you know what? This is hard for me because it's my number one show. I love it. I want to put it there, but I'd be unreasonable, so I'm going to put it here.
No, you can put it right at the top. It's your favourite show.
Right, it's my favourite show, so I'm having to put it right at the top.
Altered Carbon, no argument. Altered Carbon is on that double S level.
Obviously, I'm being biased. This isn't going completely off the quality of it. I am aware that it really isn't the same quality as the best TV shows out there, such as Game of Thrones, The Sopranos. But this is my personal take to it.
These are our personal thoughts. If you don't like it, go watch another video. Let's face it.
Pretty much.
Or
so Doctor Who's at the top.
Altered Carbon is going right at the top for me.
Right at the top.
Or on the same level as...
Well, I don't know a lot about this show, so I'll let you take.
Have you watched it?
I saw one episode. I tried getting into it.
It's... Okay, well, you can put it in double S, because I love this show. Just the idea of it, the dystopian world, the future.
How much do you like it?
I like it a lot.
Would you put it in triple S?
I would put it in double S.
You put it in double S. No worries. That's feasible.
Just the idea of it and everything. I just loved it.
Yeah, good.
A town called Eureka.
Oh, sorry. S. Just one S. Where Torchwood, Stranger Things and Futurama.
That was a phenomenon.
Good
back in the
show.
day.
Good, very good show.
You are probably ridiculously loud.
Sorry, I do apologise. So I would put Town Called Eureka in double S. Mandalorian.
Of the 3 episodes I've seen, I did like it, but I'd only put it in A.
You don't. Ooh, really?
And that's at a push.
Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you there, actually, to be honest.
It's good, and people are like, it's amazing. It's not. It's just the best Star Wars thing to come out in a couple of years.
Yes, I have to completely agree with you there. Babylon 5. Now, where do you think I'm going to put this? I'll let you guess.
I think you're putting this right at the top, as all podcasts know you will, because that's all you talk about in every podcast episode.
Right, Babylon 5, head of its time. It was one of the first shows that tackled with string continuity. It's also one of the first shows, really, especially in the science fiction drama, that tackled intimate and relationship issues. You don't really see that a lot in Star Trek. The only thing that prevented this show from being successful, in my humble opinion, is that the anesthetics, the special effects, wasn't good. And I think this held the concept of the show back. If it wasn't for that, I reckon this would have been extremely successful shows, alongside with, think of the most popular shows of the 90s. You know, you got your Sopranos, who we keep referencing, you know, mainstream, think of mainstream television.
X-Files.
South Park, even, to a certain degree. A lot of mainstream shows I was in the 90s. I honestly believe if this received a decent budget, this would still be widely talked about to this day on a mainstream perspective.
And if it was, everyone would have that hairstyle.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd all have that hairstyle now. It would be the in thing. The 100, that's going straight to D for me. It's an alright idea. The first season was good, and then it just went up its own arse, and I stopped watching it.
I only watched the odd episode. I understand the story in some aspects, but I never watched it from start to finish, so obviously I couldn't.
It tries to do so much and be more. It tries to be smarter than a show about a bunch of teenagers that crashed on a planet.
Fair enough. Andromeda.
I haven't watched that in absolute years, but
good show, surprisingly good show.
I would put that as C or B.
I'm going to disagree with you. Do you know what? I am going to put it on A.
It's not amazingly great. A Mandalorian, yeah.
Alongside Mandalorian, you're happy with that?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is that good. I think, considering this is a show that's nearly 20 years old, it's aged significantly well. You've put Star Trek: The Next Generation at the top.
We don't even need to talk about it. We can move on.
No.
There's a reason it's up there. Everyone knows why it's up there. I am not going to shit on Patrick Stewart. So, carry on.
Firefly.
Put it in B.
In what? In B?
B or A. It is
are you
good.
For real?
It is good.
What are you snorting?
It is good. It is overrated though, and most of the people that talk about it haven't gone back and watched it in years. I would put it in B. It's not an amazing show, but it was original in its setting of a western in space.
Come on.
No.
It's
B.
good company there.
Because I love the show and I love the actors and I love a lot of the stuff.
That's only one rank away from Andromeda, though. You're telling me
Yes.
Andromeda's only significantly better than
Because
Firefly.
it dealt
really?
with it dealt with the crew and the relationships and this world, and they're on the fringes, and it's
and
a western.
Every planet was a western.
I'm actually putting it on the same level.
No,
What you got?
Put it back to
No.
B. No.
No.
You will not insult Andromeda by putting it on par with Firefly.
Really? Because everyone knows what Firefly is, but no cunt knows what Andromeda is.
Oh, only because Firefly ended on 1 season. Oh, Andromeda lasted 5, so
That's
you know.
true. Yeah, but Firefly, it has a legacy.
Yeah.
It is well loved. I love it. It was a good original idea, and I'm only putting it at A.
I know we have
because
creative differences, but seriously, on par with Mandalorian? Are you for real? Like, what are you smoking, bro? Give me some. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, in what wavelength would you... Oh, no. Well, I'll put it there, because we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But, wow. Really?
I agree, you disagree.
Yeah, no, I do. Quite... thingy quite assertively, I might add, but wow. But, end of the day, you let me put Doctor Who to the top, so I can't complain. So, anyway, we have left... We are going to mention and put all the different Star Trek shows on, because I reckon that way we can really
they're all
rate
diverse
the
enough.
franchise. Star
Deep
Trek
Space
Deep
Nine.
No.
I don't rate this one, but I would still say it's at least A.
I would... Do you know what? You're going to hate me. I'm going to put it there.
You're going to put it there?
I'm going to put it there.
You would say that along with Next Generation, that's probably
right,
the next
I'll tell
best.
you what, I'll meet you half. I don't know actually whether to put it right at the top. The only reason why I'm saying it should be right at the top is because of the world building. It did one thing no other Star Trek show did. It actually gave the Star Trek universe depth, whereas Next Generation didn't do as much. It was still good in its own way. But the next Deep Space Nine did something the other Star Trek shows, frankly, just didn't do. So
this would be your favourite then?
Right. Creatively, yes. Personally, the Next Generation is the go-to show for me.
All right. Well,
I'll
tell you what.
Enough?
Because we've got every Star Trek on here besides Enterprise.
Yeah.
We can only put one Star Trek up there.
Oh, now you're being unfair.
We can have
right,
two.
okay,
yeah, right.
So we can... Right, yeah, no, that's fair enough then. The X-Files.
Now, for what it did for sci-fi and shows and the masses, mad respect for it. But at the same point, it had some fucking shit episodes.
It did.
And I just swore so much there, and I said, we've got to stop swearing.
Yes. I'm being PG here. I'm on my best
I will stop.
Here.
But yeah, no, it's got some terrible episodes, so...
So where you put in?
I don't. Where do you think?
Personally, it should be with these.
Like an A+. Yeah.
So I think X-Files. You got to think as well. Put into consideration how much of a cultural impact X-Files has had.
I'd put it in double S then. I'd say it had the same. It had more impact on society and culture than it did A Town Called Eureka.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. Now we put the other shows on. I'm not going to lie. I don't know whether Town Called Eureka should actually be with Futurama, because if you look at Town Called Eureka, look at who it's with: Stargate SG-1, Battlestar Galactica, Altered Carbon. Is it really on par with them? Really?
To you, is it?
No, I'm sorry, but it isn't. So I'm going to have to, if you don't mind, put it with these. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair.
Right. Star Trek Voyager.
I like from that tiny little picture, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Voyager is actually, besides Next Generation, my favourite. So I would, because it's a family struggling, it's two crews coming together, I would pull it at A Town Called Eureka's level.
No worries. Yeah.
I know a lot of people had a problem with it because it was clearly the writing and all that. It had nothing to do with people in that mindset just not liking a woman.
The trouble is with Star Trek Voyager, I'm going to tell you how it is now, my personal opinion on it. Voyager's a good show, stands well on its own. I know my mum will hate me, but I'm a big fan of the character Janeway. She's the perfect...
I love Janeway.
I think she was a great captain. She was the most human of captains.
She was.
what I don't like about Voyager, well, no, not necessarily don't like about Voyager. Some great ideas were going on there. However, I don't think they use Voyager to its full potential because, bear with me, Star Trek was there's something called the Roddenberry box that's to portray this Star Trek universe that's perfect, that mankind has conquered war, poverty, famine, blah, 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 blah. So it showed you a future where the Federation was past a time where of greed, of human selfishness. So they explored that with Kirk's, the original series. They explored it in leaps and bounds in The Next Generation. Why don't we have a show that makes these people that are so used to a society that is so equal, that is so diverse, to another balance of power, to another point in the galaxy where it was more desperate, it was more about survival. And that's what they could have done with Star Trek Voyager. Put these group of people that grew up in a society where they was well fed, well cared for, and put just...
There were some episodes where they were desperate. That weren't the point of it.
That was the main... No, that was actually the main premise of Voyager. They wanted the ship to go to a part of the galaxy where everything they have on a daily basis, they didn't realise they took for granted. If you look at the first episode... What's to do?
We're going to run out of time if you keep talking about this.
If you look at the first episode, it was
We've got 10 minutes now to do the rest.
People were fighting for water.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but yeah, I think a lot of untapped potential. How much time do we have? Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, we want a tight schedule. Farscape.
B tier.
D.
A. Pull it with Firefly and Andromeda. I don't think it was as well loved as you think it was loved, but also I know you love it. It's good sci-fi.
I love it because it's weird.
It's A tier at least.
Yeah, I love it because it's weird.
Killjoys. I loved the idea.
More popular than I think it should be. I'm not going to lie, but it's up to you. I don't really know.
I'd pull it as A as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's not like the best. But none of these shows really are. A lot of these shows are flawed and cheesy.
Comparing Killjoys and Farscape and Firefly to Mandalorian.
Actually, no, I put Killjoys at B.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, but yeah.
Westworld.
Really good. I think it's really clever, to be honest with you.
I'd put that with X-Files. It's got the same feeling. It's got that impact. It's decent sci-fi. Plus, all these are like...
So we're putting it with X-Files.
Yeah, all these are like crews and things, and this is very different. This is almost fighting against slavery.
Yeah, pretty much.
Plus, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blake Seven.
Fucking hell. Right.
I think we're going Lost in Space here. Out of respect, it doesn't go right at the bottom, but it should.
I think it should.
Right at the bottom?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't rate it at all.
Could you sit down and watch an episode now?
Just. And I
bottom.
mean just. Bottom, as in right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. I know people are going to say, oh, but you're not looking at it this time. You got to think this show come out at the same time Star Trek did. And it was still using yogurt pots as computers. Enough said. It came out at the same time as the original series. Look at the special effects that had. That's no fucking argument. I don't care how old it is. It's a shit show. Moving on.
It did have some good writing, though. But anyway, Quantum Leap. I love this show.
Love the show.
How weird it was, and each episode, like there's one way.
I wanted to know what was going to happen next because it always ended on a cliffhanger.
And
you know what? I'm going to put that there.
Yeah, one episode was like he was Elvis. I love that one.
And Scott Bakula. Oh, well, Scott Bakula, you got to love him. Red Dwarf.
Do you know what?
Go on.
I'd put that at A. It's a really funny show, and it's quite good sci-fi. And the world is weird.
Yeah.
I love it.
The world is very weird. Do you know there's no aliens on Red Dwarf at all?
Yeah, I know.
Like, they have life forms, but they'll always have an in-depth explanation of they originated from Earth, but they just mutated in space. You will never actually see a full...
so it's a very dead universe in essence.
Yeah, no, that's the joke. It's one of the early episodes of Red Dwarf is Holly, and he says, we've just found out that we're in a godless, lifeless universe still. You got to laugh, haven't you? Completely, that in itself is Red Dwarf humour.
Where do calculators go when they die? I love that episode. Or the backwards episode where the cat has a shit.
Describe that.
British
humour.
Discovery.
Discovery.
Now I'm sorry. Now you are going to argue with me. I didn't like the show at first, and then it grew on me.
Okay.
I would put it solidly at A.
No, I'll agree with that. Do you know
Because
what?
season 2,
I was
I
going to do you know
did-
what? I was even going to contemplate giving it a higher rating, but no, I think A is actually the most.
I loved the
appropriate.
portrayal of Spock. I loved the portrayal of Pike, and I
Can
loved
we
season
move
2.
Mandalorian to S then? Because
Yeah, go on then.
A Mandalorian, yeah.
And Firefly. Okay, no. Just that look. Space, 1999.
If you really want to put Firefly with them, we can.
Go on then.
Go on,
move it
every village has to have an idiot, I suppose.
up. Wow. Go on then. Space, 1999. Now, I loved this show when I was a kid.
Don't know an awful lot about it. I've got a feeling you know more about this show than I do. So
I
where
loved
do
it
you
more
think-
as a
I
kid.
saw one episode.
I thought it was alright. We're going to move it up.
Where we're
to
putting it to.
B.
B. I think that's fair enough.
With
actually.
Killjoys.
That is fair enough.
Now, the original series of Star Trek.
Oh.
Are you going to take down Deep Space Nine?
No, I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not. I am going to put it in SS because this Star Trek is probably the least Star Trek episode, Star Trek show I go to, but now and again I do go to it. So I think it's not without its props. However, I do feel that it demands, not demands, but it's due its respect because it is pretty much the show that started the entire franchise off. So there you have it, I believe.
We have now come to the end of this episode.
Yes, hope you enjoyed our ranking.
Hope you enjoyed this. It's different than what we normally do.
Yeah.
So I am trying to breach out. You're coming up with ideas. I think this is a good idea for you to do.
Thank you. I agree. I definitely agree.
So I have been Koala.
And I have been Dancing Bear.
See you next week.
See you next week.